Yo, 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 welcome to Accidentally DeFi with Jerome and David. How y'all doing tonight? How you doing, brother?
I'm straight, fool. Trying to compute whether or not Memphis stands a chance in these Western Conference Finals. But that's all.
Nah, man, I think Memphis versus anybody gonna be a good matchup.
It's gonna be a good matchup. I didn't say it's gonna be entertaining, and you might not know who will win, but
I don't know,
it's
man.
just
I like Memphis chances, and I ain't gonna get too deep into it, but like I like their chances, not just because of Ja Morant, but you know what the whole team doing. You got Jaren Jackson Jr. looking like a defensive player of the year candidate. You know what I'm saying? They play with heart. They play with that Memphis swagger. Yeah,
yeah,
I for real think they got a chance versus anybody. Like no cap.
yeah. You're right. You're right. They do have a chance. That's for sure.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll
somebody
see.
seeing them for 7 games gonna be tough, but into it. Let's jump into it. Y'all, welcome to Accidentally DeFi again. I'm David. That's Jerome again. You know what I mean? And
like I keep saying, J-Ron, I'm gonna call you Dave.
yo, don't do it. Don't do it. But like for real though, what we getting into tonight? Like what we discussing, what we running through, what's on the agenda?
So on my agenda today is how do banks work? I think that's the most important thing. Is I think sometimes people, when I talk to people about crypto, it just sounds so far fetched, and it is, but they don't understand why they should leave the system that they're in.
Right.
I think that's the most important part about what crypto is like you only understand why you need crypto if you're in a space to understand banks. So let's just jump right into it. Dave, if you can, what do you think banks do? I know you at least got a rudimentary idea of what they do, right?
I mean, the banks, they first and foremost hold money, you know what I mean? And they're able to give out loans. And that's the extent of what I know at this late hour in the day. You should ask me about 3 hours ago if you wanted a better answer. But nah, like, to banks exist to hold your funds and to give out loans so that they can stimulate the economy, right? And so that's it.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That's it.
So if so, banks were invented because it's not safe. Some hundreds of years ago, it wasn't safe to keep all your money on you.
Right.
Because phone them would just run up on you and take what you had and keep it pushing. And that, it just wasn't smart. So you would give it to somebody. And one of the earliest bankers I studied, and I wish I would have studied the De Medici family from Italy, but I think he's German. His name is Jacob Fugger, Fuggrer. But cause he was holding a lot of funds. And what he did was he essentially gave out loans. Now, how do those loans work? So basically, the Federal Reserve tells banks how much money they got to keep on them. I'm pretty sure that number is below 10%. Let me, if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna be absolutely sure. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be a despicable. It's not something that's public. What's the current reserve rate? It's not something that's public because if they told you, people would. Currently, it's 10%. Cool. It is exactly 10%. So this means that if a bank say they got $1 million in total deposits, that means they got a whole bunch of checking accounts and savings accounts that add up to $1 million.
Right.
That means that only $100,000 is actually in the bank. All right. That other 900 grand is being loaned out to other people. like you and me, to
Not like you and me.
yeah, like you and me.
Not us.
Well, it should be loaned out to people like you and me
There we go.
at higher rates to do whatever we got going on. And so as we pay those loans back, that's how you get your interest payment at the end of the month. Are you following me? Do you feel like I'm explaining that? Do you want to take what I just gave and regurgitate as a second
Nah,
opinion?
man, I'm vibing. I'm vibing with it. I definitely understand the reserve rate, right? And I understand that they take deposits and they loan out our deposits. That was actually the first thing I learned about the bank. They take out our deposits and then, they loan it out and they take an interest on our money that we put into it. So I'm on the same page as you with that.
Cool. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do now is show y'all some crazy stuff. All right, I'm trying to put this on site for everybody. So let's say total deposits is 1 million USD. Let's say it's the bank we talking about right now.
Right.
Reserve rate is, as we said, 10%.
Okay.
So amount we can loan. All right, now check this out. It's 900 grand. All right. So let's say and I know I'm not even saying, I'm not jumping to the max. Let's say we do a loan amount of 600 grand. So we collect the loan amount, 600 USD. All right, let's say this is for a mortgage, right? Because we all know how the mortgage market is looking right now. It's looking wild. So the average mortgage interest rate. All right, now we assuming that whoever we're talking about got good credit is about 4.058%. Okay. This means that the total value of this mortgage loan and I'm doing this math in my head. I don't have a calculator right now, but I'm pretty sure it's like 1,038,000 USD. Check me if I'm wrong. I might be kind of, that's how they would get paid that amount of money over the course of 30 years. So, yeah. So the total value of the loan was $1 million to the bank. So that means every year the bank is going to receive, now I might need a calculator. So per year, mortgage per year is 34,600 USD. All right. Now, if we just talking about the 600 grand that they loaned out in the first place, cost of loan, cost per year is 20K. All right. So this means profit per year on this one loan is 14,600 US dollars for the bank. Now we go back up here to total deposits. The current checking account interest rate, if I'm I think we're gonna assume all these are checking accounts too. Interest rates is, I'm pretty sure it's 0.01%. I hope it's right. I don't know. I know they don't give us much. So this means, and I'm doing some wacky now. There we go. So throughout the year, if you keep your deposits all year, that $1 million consistent all year, total payout for the bank, 1,000 USD. That's how much money they have to pay out on that $1 million. Now, the profit from this mortgage loan is 14. So if this is the only loan that they get after payout, they walk away with 13,600 USD every year. The ability to produce this loan comes from the shareholders, or in this case, the depositors. But only 0.1% of the profit is delegated toward the depositors. Right? And I know, like, I don't know if you pay attention to the news, Bank of America just promised to raise the minimum wage in their company to $25. So like over the past 20, 40 years, they haven't had any minimum wage raised in their company. So the amount of money they've been making at mortgages has been hand over fist. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So this is one of the biggest issues, in my opinion. This assumes that this mortgage lives out its time. It does not default. And I know default rates is less than maybe 5% in normal times, right? So, and of course, they have financial tools to bundle this, reduce risk and everything like that, ensure that they have a healthy payout. This is all that you get for getting your money in the bank at a 0.1% interest rate. Now, what is interesting is Federal Reserve, their responsibility is to set interest rates. Interest rates have been close to zero forever, but today, I think it was today, they decided to raise interest rates to 0.25%. This means total payout in theory. Would be raised to, I think, $2,500. In theory, it's assuming you're holding your checking account at the minimum. There are checking accounts that are slightly higher than what the average payout is. You know what? Excuse me. I apologize for this. Yeah, that's what it is. That was a little bit too high. But yeah, so that's their, this is what they raised the rate to. So $2,500 is what it comes to. So even still, that's money hand over fist. Banks run away with all that money. You don't get to see who they loan money out to. They loan out money to oil companies, and oil companies are for profit. They destroy the earth in a kind of way, loan their money out to the government. I mean, all types of crazy projects. And so you could be putting your money in a bank account and you don't even know what you're funding. But we're going to assume that all the funds stay in your community, and they don't, right? Because there are a lot of communities that are not built up through this process. This is how you build your community, through a bank, a local bank. Anywho, this is why traditional finance fails us, because the Federal Reserve decides what the interest rate is rather than free market. Banks don't have to compete for depositors. So since banks don't have to compete, they can be kind of lax. No matter where you go, you get 0.01%. It does put a lot of strain on this, investment to move your money to have higher interest rates. But I think humans, as humans, and as the people that make the banking system happen, we deserve higher interest rates.
Nah, I feel like the traditional finance model, we understand it. You did a good job of illustrating it. And it illustrates at a very high level how banks make money off people while giving us very little back, right?
Right.
And I think that's where you start to look at crypto markets, DeFi markets, CeFi markets. And don't worry, I'm going to explain the difference between DeFi and CeFi. But you start to look at those markets and you start to understand why so many people who have been infatuated with traditional finance models are looking at these
I
new
mean,
shiny objects.
yeah.
They looking at these new shiny objects and they like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, I got a chance to move my money somewhere where my money actually gonna make money. And I personally know, a couple of different people, a few different people who look at DeFi as a mechanism for it's funny because bankless, they whole thing is like bank, you know what I mean? But like,
Right, naturally.
and it's because banks have made money off of us since their inception while giving
And
little back.
and they regularly cause grand financial crises that they don't have to deal with. The CEOs, they wonder why
I wasn't even I
hundred.
wasn't even gonna talk about that. Like, but it's
They
true,
don't even have to
right?
deal with it.
Like,
Yeah, like
if a bank fucks up, right? And excuse me, any children for the fuck bomb that I just dropped, but like, if a bank fucks up, you know what I mean? Like, they get bailed out. Like,
we don't.
they make bad financial decisions, they get bailed out. But the normal people like us, we don't get bailed out if we make a bad decision. I mean, shit. Like, how many
And
people
see,
got student loans? Like, student loans alone is a good illustration of like, oh, you will bail out these banks that already make money off of everybody at an obscene rate. But then, like, you got people with student loans who were told that was the only way to exit poverty. And you like, nah, bro, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know what I mean? And so when you look at it like that and you look at the inequity between how banks are treated and how we're treated as citizens, as consumers, when you look at how banks profit so much off of us while only giving so little back, like, you use my money. Like,
yeah.
like, wrap your head around it. Like, you use my money to go.
Yeah, we are the basis of the financial system.
Yeah, and
There's
so
no financial system without
you got
us.
people who see that. You got people who see that, and people who might not fully grasp TradFi, traditional finance, the way finance has been done for decades. Like, people might not fully grasp the concepts right here, but they understand that you making money off me, and they're like, why can't I make money off myself? And so my introduction to DeFi wasn't even DeFi, by the way. It was CeFi, Donut app. I got hit with mad ads about Donut app, and them folks was like, bruh, we gonna give you 8.5% on your shit. And I'm like, yo, a savings.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Siri, be quiet. But like, like, I'm like, yo, I can make 8.5%. Like, hell yeah, I'm a move my money over here. Sure, it's risky, right? Like, sure, it's risky. But like, I grab me some stable coins, and we off to the races, because I at least trust that a stable coin not gonna bottom out. Like, if I get fucked over with some stable coins, a lot of other people got fucked over with some stable coins, and so we all in there together. You know what I mean? But so, I mean, that was the big appeal for so many people, myself included. It's like, I get the chance to make money off my own shit.
And I think the most important part about DeFi over that is DeFi, you actually manage the lending process of your own money. So you decide where your money goes, where the lending process is, how your money can increase over time. Whereas even with CeFi, you don't manage the loan process. You know what I mean?
You don't. You don't. And so I think this is a good point to really like explain what CeFi is or what DeFi is. So when you think about DeFi, which is decentralized finance, it means there are no owners. There is no single person or entity that controls this financial market, right? It's decentralized. It does not rest with anybody. But then when we talk about things like CeFi, it is one company or it is one group that is more or less, regulating and controlling that. And they're doing it with the best interest, and they're still participating in, crypto markets. And for the most part, like, let's not pump no FUD in here, but like, for the most part, these CeFi markets are doing what they're supposed to do. A lot of people might not trust them because they're like, oh, I want to be decentralized. I want to be trustless. It's a lot. It's a word you'll hear a lot, but CeFi is like, I remember, no, this ain't financial advice, none of that shit. But like, I feel like CeFi is a good first step toward understanding
That's freedom.
crypto. Is
Yeah.
a good first step toward understanding Web3. It's a good
Yeah.
first step toward understanding motherfucking NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And it's a good first step toward being fully decentralized. And by the way, I don't know of many truly decentralized protocols at this time, but we're working towards it, man. Everybody's working towards it with the hopes of like at some point we will live in this trustless world, meaning I don't have to trust another motherfucker with my money. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I trust code, and code can be changed, but you got to vote on that shit. So I literally lost my train of thought, but
Let's go ahead and jump into CeFi, man.
like I said, I was introduced to the world of DeFi through CeFi. I was introduced through Donut, and then you and another one of our friends, brothers, really, told me about Celsius, and I think I'd love to talk about Celsius. I do love to talk about Celsius. Celsius has enabled me to grow in the space. I receive interest on my deposits. I receive interest on my USDC. I receive interest on my Matic. I receive interest on my Ethereum, my Bitcoin, right? Like, and I'm receiving that interest, and it's all higher than I would have gotten in a traditional bank account. I got
Ridiculous.
like 6-7 bank accounts. I ain't gonna lie. None of them give me the yield. You know what I mean?
I remember my first week of Celsius. I put $100 in USDC in there that first week just to test it out, to get my feet wet. And the interest payment I got that following Monday was higher than the interest that I had gotten from my bank account the past year.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's insane to think that like you can make money off your own money, just like a bank did, right?
Just like a bank did.
That was the appeal for me. You know what I mean? Like I was attracted because I wanted to make money like they were doing. And sure, in the CeFi environment, you might not always get yields because in the world of DeFi, even in some worlds of CeFi, like you will come across yields that are obscene, like 40%, 60%, 100%. I think the highest I've personally seen was like 400%.
The highest I've ever seen was 364%. Yeah, on DeFi.
Like you got to understand. And so just understanding that my money could make money for me, understanding that I came from an environment where, you know, like investments seemed like a pipe dream, right? Like I did not have enough money. Like I grew up next to nothing, man. So like to understand that now I'm able to leverage my own money and make money off of it, that was life-changing, and it really pushed me into the DeFi world. And now like the reason we even started this podcast are accidentally DeFi. We accidentally fell into this shit trying to make money off our own
money.
You know what I mean?
I mean, the only reason why I came to crypto, just like you said, one of our brothers, homeboy, you talk to anybody in our friend group, I champion traditional finance. It is, in fact, one of the most spectacular marvels of modern society and what it has done and what it does. The only issue is that it's lopsided, it's unfair, and
it's hella unfair. It's so fucking unfair, bro.
It has so much privilege and arrogance about itself. My favorite economist, he wrote a book called The End of Alchemy. And alchemy is this fake science, this fake chemistry. And alchemy is how they run our financial system. It's an alchemy. It's not an actual science. And they know the actual science. They choose the alchemy. Nonetheless, he talked about it so much. I decided in 2018 I was going to put $5 into Ethereum, and I did it. And then every once in a while, I put in $1, $6 or whatever. And as I continue to watch inflation, just natural inflation at
And
2% that we
that's
were
a
happy
whole
with.
other topic.
I know, right? When we continue to watch it, I realized that the Ethereum that I was buying and the Bitcoin that I had, I just tiny bit, and because I was in college, I didn't have enough money to really jump into it. I realized that the little $5 a month that I was putting in to Ethereum and Bitcoin was doing ridiculously well in respect to inflation.
I'm gonna jump in right here, right? I'm gonna jump in. I think a lot of people, when they think about crypto, when they think about DeFi, when they think about Web3, when they think about the metaverse, when they think about these concepts that seem very techy or abstract, they think of Bitcoin, they think of Ethereum, they think of Dogecoin. So many people got into crypto because of Dogecoin.
Because of Dogecoin, yeah.
I don't give a singular crap, you know what I mean, of how you feel about Dogecoin as a token, about its utility, none of that. Dogecoin introduced so many people to crypto that alone made Dogecoin
worth the money it was worth.
You know what I mean? And so people think about crypto as, oh, I'm going to buy this and then it's going to shoot up and then it's going to,
then I'll be rich.
It's going to 1 million X my returns like Bitcoin. No, like it might, like there's a 1 in a gazillion chance you're going to pick a token that's going to, multiply that many times. But
I definitely think we should definitely start shifting our opinion of crypto tokens from get rich quick schemes to stay wealthy for a long man.
I think the way I've come to understand Web3, the way I've come to understand crypto is that crypto enables people to transact across borders. It enables people to transact without the need for regulation. And you can feel about that however you feel, right? It enables people to take control over their own, financial future. You can profit off of your own talents, off of your own money, off of your own everything. And that is why crypto is like so freaking incredible. And I do envision a world where everybody has like their own little token going on. You know what I mean? And so
I'm listening.
It's not necessarily like, yeah, you can invest in it and the price will probably go up, and that would be a smart investment. Buy low, sell high, right? Like that.
Or the real crypto is buy high and sell low. That's not good advice. That's not good financial advice at all.
It's not financial advice. We not getting sued. But like
ask David how his Shiba Inu went.
Still losing. But you don't take an L until you sell. So you know what I mean? I just think crypto is going to enable so many people to take control over their own financial futures that crypto is entirely worth it. I had a conversation with a friend today. He was like, why? Like they already got banks. They already got money. They already got contracts. Like, why do you need an NFT? Why do you need crypto? Why do you need XYZ? And you need it because it's going to allow people across different domains to transact. It's going to allow people that have been left out of the traditional financial market to transact, right? Like, I ain't even going to talk about how unfair that shit is, but like, it's crazy, right? Like, I read an article, or maybe it was an excerpt from a book or whatever, but there was this guy down in South America. He was getting paid his money, but their currency kept dropping. And so he was like, fuck that. And let me put my money in USD, but you can only have so much USD in this country that I'm thinking about. So he was like, well, I'm gonna put it in USDC, right? And because it's pegged to the US dollar. And so when the currency ultimately tanked, he kept all his value in USDC, right? And that wouldn't be possible without crypto.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to get an 8.5% yield without crypto. I wouldn't be able to get 114% yield without crypto. And like you alluded to, man, like we even can control where the money goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
choose to put my money in this liquidity pool. I choose to be a part of this decentralized autonomous organization.
I remember
And
J. Cole released when he had a song, he was like, I think it's 2019, I should be able to pick the things on funding on an app on my screen. And I think that's what crypto is. It's
yeah,
the ability to decide where your money goes and how much money you make off of it. And you decide the risk. Like, you gotta understand, certain banks are inherently risky. Some banks do take risks. Some financial institutions are risky, right? And you can choose to put all of your money in a risky bank or in a money in a conservative bank, and you can risk the interest rates that come with it. In crypto, I make sure 30 to 40% of my assets are in a stable coin. X percent of my assets are in Ethereum and Bitcoin. And you got, maybe 10 to 15% of my assets are on some very, very, very risky stuff.
yeah.
So, like, I mean, you get to decide that. It's your decision.
And I thought about this the other day. Like, you could really look at, crypto tokens, crypto coins. You could look at these as shares of stock. Like, I know this is gonna make some people skin crawl. Like, oh, I'm not in the stock market. Well, look at it, because really these tokens are being created to fund projects, to fund protocols. And so essentially owning one of these tokens is saying, I believe in you. You know what I mean? And
Right.
some of these tokens give you governing rights. They give you voting rights. They give you XYZ. It's so much more than just a price attached to it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just think about crypto. Think about Web3. Think about DeFi. And this probably the last thing I got on the top of it, as a way to really take control over your own financial picture, to take control over your own talents, to take control over your life. Look at crypto and Web3 as the vehicle to take control over your life, everything you work for, everything you've earned. And nobody can take that away from you unless you give them your secret keys, and never, ever give them your secret keys.
Never give anyone your keys.
Ever. Not even your mom. Like, no.
Your mama, your wife, your girlfriend.
None of them. They
your
don't
cousin,
get
your auntie,
keys, bro.
your brother, your
as long as
phone.
nobody got your keys, you know what I'm saying? You good. And
but what I will say is about keys, just so people know, if you don't got the keys, you can't have the crypto. So if you're gonna get yourself a decentralized finance wallet, i.e. MetaMask, i.e. Coinbase wallet, i.e. whichever wallet you decide to choose, if you get one, make sure you write it down, put it in your will or a safety deposit box, so that upon, your own demise, that money still is able to pass on. Because I've heard stories of people building in a massive wealth in Bitcoin, and then they die.
key to the wallet. Yeah.
And so the key to the wallet is not passed on. So make sure if you do start putting, any amount of money, you want to have that money somewhere. Say, I got it in the safety deposit box with my lawyer, a couple of places. That's it. And upon my demise, that money would pass on to my son or my wife or whoever the hell I choose.
Not your keys, not your crypto, bro. You know what I mean?
Not your keys, not your crypto.
And so, yeah, man, just take advantage of this opportunity. Take advantage of the world we live in. This is still, in the grand scheme of things, if you look over the entire time horizon, if we stretch this thing out another 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, we are at the genesis of the next era of this world, man.
Well, finance. And what I want to say is to everybody, me and David are learning alongside with you. That's the goal of this podcast. I want to encourage people to take on crypto. We're not crypto aristocrats. I'm not a crypto aristocrat yet. Hopefully one day, if she can even do his thing, I might be. But as of right now, I promise you, I'm not a crypto aristocrat. I'm just a person that takes advantage of saving. I'm a person that takes advantage of all this stuff. I got a friend who recently moved her money into Celsius with the intention of, because that was her money for a mortgage, and she was like, wait, what? You can get 7% interest? I was like, yeah. And I was like, every month you can make this much money per 1,000. And it blew her mind because she had it sitting in an account where they were giving her less than $1 for all the money she had every month. I was like, no, ma'am, that's not how it's supposed to work. So you want to take advantage of all these abilities, everything you got. But no, we're not. We're not much farther ahead than you are. You can catch up in a couple checks.
But it's all good, man. And I'm gonna say this every time. Like y'all, if y'all sat here, if y'all watched it, if y'all rocked with it, leave us some comments. Talk to us. We want to talk back. Like you said, we're not aristocrats. We're here to learn with you. We're here to break down these concepts and to share our opinions. This still ain't financial advice. Even if I tell you what I'm investing in, I ain't telling you to invest in it, my boy. So,
and if I got something wrong about anything, leave it in the comments. Educate me. I'm here to learn too. So is he. This is what we're here to do. It's a community of people. We the saloon, man.
Get this thing rocking, you know what I'm saying? If we rocking and we get some people who really want to continue the conversation, we'll build a community. And
yes, sir.
And we can keep learning together, man. Like my whole reason I agreed to do this, my whole reason for being part of DeFi, for being part of DAOs, for my whole reason for making money, to be 100 with y'all, just between me and y'all, it's to help other people. He want to get rich. I want to help people. So like, let's keep it.
I want to make sure my kids don't want to have everybody escape poverty. That's it. I don't mind helping people along the way, especially like if my folks at work, they like, man, I'm doing this. I want to do this. I'm like, look, let me go ahead and tell you what I'm on. Let me show you the crypto projects.
Yeah.
You got to help people, man. Everybody along the way. Don't hold what I think what Solomon wrote. What he said? He said, if you can, don't withhold a good deed if given the opportunity to give one. If you do, you're a bad man, something like that. And given that's a new living young. That's the new living young people version. Don't trust me, that ain't fully written.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, we're here to learn like you. We're here to share what we're learning. I'm glad y'all taking this journey with us. Come back and rock with us again. This is episode 1. We going up. Let's make it to 100 before I fizzle out with this. But yeah, thank y'all for spending some time with us on Accidentally DeFi. We gonna get up out of here. We gonna keep learning. We gonna make some more mistakes, and maybe we'll accidentally do something else. Peace.